YouTube, what's good? It's your boy, Paul Harris, aka Crazy R. Hey, guess what? This your first time tuning in. Go ahead. Hit the doggone subscribe button. Hit notification bell every time I post a new content. Super Bowl recap. you know, um, there really is nothing to recap because, and the only reason why I said it is because, for one, I already had a pretty good sense of who was going to win, Kansas City Chiefs. So, considering what yesterday was, right? And if I was still in the army, just know that um, today would have been essential, extremely essential if I was still in the army because I was like, I was drunk, not beyond belief, but I was there. I because I took some gummies, right? And I was high, but not beyond belief. And so, for the most part, knowing that I had a pretty good idea who was going to win, the Super Bowl was a blur at best because I fell asleep like on several occasions. Uh, I fell asleep on the halftime show, but I also look at it like this. Usher, he come out there, did his little piece. Is that what I remember? Alicia Keys came out talking about the diamond rings and all this kind of shit. But my whole deal is that when the NFL calls you up and say, "Hey, look, we want you to perform at our halftime show," that don't mean bring old ass material. Because all of those songs that Usher sung, all of those songs that Alicia Keys song, that was old shit. I was like, so this is what the fuck we do. I mean, here it is. This is a once in a lifetime event for you, and you come up with some old ass shit, right? And then this morning, I was watching the news, and then they were talking about the halftime show. This, the halftime show, that, the halftime show, the other. Then you had, you know what? I'm really surprised that little Taylor Swift didn't hop her ass on stage trying to sing something. But then again, at least it would have been something. Well, I ain't even gonna say that it would have been something brand new, but just actually really stop and think about it for a minute, right? With all of this shit that's been going on between her and the Kelsey boy, then I mean, what to actually like really top it off, if his girlfriend would have bought her little bony ass down there and did a track or two, plain and simple. Now, 9 times out of 10, I probably would have still been passed the fuck out due to alcohol and gummies, right? But I did muster up enough about myself to at least watch them go into overtime and for Kansas City to actually really do to score the touchdown at the 3-second mark that would have ended overtime. And then Jim Gray, I think that's his name, Tony Romo's partner, he actually really gave the whole goddamn thing away. So here we are at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, and this bastard gave out an address 333. It was like 3333 something another drive, which that's where the Las Vegas, regardless of how you spell it, regardless you spell it with the A or the U, right? And where the Los Angeles, I don't know why I want to say Los Angeles, but just know that when you're a Los Angel, you talk that bullshit, which is in Vegas. And they always say, right, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So again, regardless of how you spell it, whether you spell it with the A or whether you spell it with the U, which starts at the tongue, and it's just for the simple fact that I know I checked it out on Thursday, I believe, where that I was on Facebook, and the feed come across that on this particular game, $23.1 billion was being bid. And that was on Thursday. So you could just imagine what the fuck it was come kickoff time. Now, considering all of this shit that has happened in the state of California, right, with the floods and all that kind of shit. So, and then y'all already know that whoever wins the Super Bowl, y'all win the Super Bowl, and each player gets a significant amount of money. And then whoever loses the Super Bowl, it's the same thing applies. The only thing is that you don't go home with the Lombardi Trophy, but you do go home with a nice piece of money, right? So I don't know if the players, they get their little piece of money, and then the organization itself, they get their little piece of money because they participated. And then you almost got to ask yourself, okay, with whatever little money that okay, yeah, we know the players got this much, but how much did the organization, as an organization, how much did they get paid? Right? Because 9 times out of 10, they're gonna look like, hey, look, we got enough money, so we're gonna get this to y'all because the state of California is in a state of emergency now with all of the floods and things. But then you got to ask yourself, okay, well, considering that HAARP, HAARP is a motherfucker. So you got to ask yourself, okay, well, is that natural weather, or is that something what the motherfucking HAARP machine did once the airplanes did enough of the chemtrails in order for the HAARP machine to come on, thus the rain, thus the flood out. California is in a motherfucking state of emergency right now, right? And for the most part, I almost thought that San Francisco was going to win, right? But then I really stopped and thought about it for a minute. I said, well, now, this is HAARP. And this is why the state of California got flooded out in the first damn place. That's man-made. But then once I actually really stopped and thought about it for a minute, and I looked at, okay, hey, this is the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And right to this day, I really I really don't actually like really see why that this organization was not forced by the NFL to actually really get their name changed, because for the most part, if you look at the logo, and I said this in a previous show, right? You look at it, that's it's an arrowhead. It's one of the things that us Native Americans, us so-called Native Americans use in hunting and killing whatever the fuck it was. Whether you killed something to eat or whether you killed something to keep them off your ass so you could go eat, right? But I'm just looking, because I look at that because I look at what happened to the Washington Redskins, or that was the Washington Redskins, right? I mean, they motherfucker they holler about, well, that's offend that you offended the Native American. Well, I'm here to tell you, in my face, motherfucker, right? I wouldn't listen, but my thing is this: do I actually really classify myself as a Native American? Of course not, right? But then if you look at me, look at my skin complexion, and then go back and look who was here before Columbus showed his ass up and before this was actually like really called the United States of America, you can look at me and you can damn well know that, for one, I am not African American. Right? I am not African American. And going off of my family tree, and I done told y'all this. I done told y'all who the hell I was on my father's side of the family. I done told y'all who the hell I was on my mother's side of the family. So again, we're not actually really getting it. We're gonna talk about the goddamn Super Bowl. Right? And it's just for the simple fact that although what I just got to saying, and this is how sneaky that the United States government is, right? They know that this shit is on the uprise, where that we're actually really starting to find out a whole lot about ourselves. And just for the simple fact that, well, considering this is so-called Black History Month, it's just for the simple fact a lot of us are actually really starting to realize that, no, we're not African American. Our grandparents and our great-grandparents didn't come off of no motherfucking boat. We was already here. Okay, and so when you see that, and then the NFL, as well as United States government, they see that, and they were just like, well, okay, well, damn, what team can we actually really use, right? That, in order for us to say, oh, you know what? Yeah, we see you coming. We see that you're starting to wake up, right? And then for the longest, the Super Bowl has been placed in February, which is Black History Month. So let's actually really stop and think about this for a minute. Let's actually really go back when from the first time that the NFL actually really started putting the Super Bowl, the biggest sports game ever, right? And they started putting it in February. You got to ask yourself, why? Why would they do that, right? And then you actually really got to step and look at it, right? Out of all of the players in the NFL, anywhere from 80 to 90%, if not more, of the players that are in the NFL are my color and dark, right? So basically, it's just like what I told y'all a couple of shows ago. February. What always happens in February? Black History Month. So here it is. You got the quarterback, Kansas City Chiefs, right? And it's a black man. Although, if you look at him, you be like, yeah, he black, but is he really one of them? Is he one of them house nigga black motherfuckers? Right? But it's just for the simple fact it doesn't change the fact that the Super Bowl is now played in February, so-called Black History Month, right? So When you look at it from that aspect, and then when you actually like really look at him, and then what's so bad about it, right? Here it is. This guy, he's 28 years old. He got 3 Super Bowls in. He's been in the game. He's put like this since he's been drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs. This motherfucker has been in 5 championship games. This is his 4th Super Bowl. He's 3-1 as far as like the big game goes. So now you gotta ask yourself, okay, well, why is that? Right? Well, let's just look at it like this. You look at him. Let's really look at Patrick Mahomes for a minute. And let's actually really look at his color. Now, grant the fact, regardless of what he actually really is, right? He's a Kansas City Chief, a Native American, which was my goddamn color, if not dark. But then you look at him, right? And then you look at him, and then you look at all of the other fucking $5 Indians. They look closer to his color than my goddamn color, right? But then, even then, let's look at it like this, right? Which I think is even more fucked up than him actually like being a quarterback for the motherfucking Kansas City Chiefs. It's just for the simple fact. Here it is. This guy, he 3 rings in now. And they actually really started to compare him to doggone Tom Brady. And so you got to ask yourself, well, why is that? Right? Well, hell, look at Tom Brady. Look at Patrick Mahomes. They damn near the same fucking color. Right? And I already know somebody gonna come up here and talk about, ooh, you being racist. Shut the fuck up and color. And make sure that you color with the right damn color. Right? Because, again, it's just like what I said. I am not a black man. I am not an African American. Right? And I knew this shit before Dane Calloway actually came out and told everybody what was happening. I knew that way back then. Right? But what I'm actually really saying is this. The so-called the model type of American is still being displayed to a certain degree. Right? And the only reason why I say that, you can look at it now, right? You go to any fashion show or whatever, and then you have the little skinny bitch, right? That's on the eat lettuce and then vomit the shit out 30 minutes later type model. Now you got the plus size model that doesn't mind eating a bucket of chicken and still going out there and do her thing and walk off and be like, woo-wee. That's what the fuck we want right there. That's what we need. We need somebody with a little meat on their bone. Right? But, again, this is what the fuck y'all need to look at. You get a lot of people that are, again, they start to wake up, they start to become self-aware. Right? And just like I said in that previous show, right? It's previous with the all of a sudden people are starting to wake up and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, the United States government saw it. So they said, well, hey, look, let's put this shit in play. And as a result, you got Patrick Mahomes looking like the $5 Indian or the $5 Native American. And he's winning. And just like I say, they try to, they put like this, they try to put him up there with Tom Brady. But then again, let's look at Tom Brady, right? 2001, Twin Towers fall down. Bledsoe gets knocked out by a New York Jet. And then who wins the Super Bowl? Who had been winning the Super Bowl ever since the motherfucking Twin Towers come down? The New England Patriots. And then let's just know at least 2 of those Super Bowls. Then, like I said, I want to say that Brady is what, 5, 7? And okay, then in the 10 Super Bowls, this motherfucker is 7-3. Right? As far as like Super Bowl, because he lost twice to the Giants and once to Philadelphia. All NFC East teams. Right? But let's actually really stop and think about this for a minute. Right? Tom Brady his record should be lower than what the fuck it is. At best, he should be 6-4 because anybody that actually remembers the Super Bowl against them and Seattle, when you have Marshall Lynch, which was the most brutal running back at that particular time. 30 seconds left on the clock. You at the 2-yard line. So you mean to tell me in 2 tries with 2 timeouts, you got the biggest and baddest motherfucking running back in the league. This motherfucker can't get 2 yards? Come on now. They wanted Brady to win that. Because again, and I'm steady bringing y'all back, right? Because if you actually look at NFL history, right, before Brady came along, right, you got to look at the greats, Otto Graham, Johnny Unitas, or whatever. And then after that, Bradshaw was the first to do it. As far as like winning 4 Super Bowls. He did 4 in like 9 years, I believe. Then Joe Montana, he comes around. He do 4 in 6 years. Then Aikman comes, he's 3-4. He won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Now Patrick Mahomes and did the exact same shit. But then you got Brady. But the thing about it though is just the one motherfucker, right, that was after doggone Bradshaw and Montana. The one motherfucker that we actually talking about here, he never played quarterback. Matter of fact, he was on the other side of the ball. And I'm actually really talking about no other than Charles Haley. Charles got 5 of them things. Right? And then it's just for the fact that for those y'all that really don't know, right? You don't know black history, so-called black history. Well, goddamn it, I'm telling you this right now, NFL style. Right? So here's the deal. If Charles Haley doesn't win that 5th Super Bowl ring with the Dallas Cowboys, then Tom Brady, as we know it, he don't exist. So basically what happens is that the NFL, which has been dominated by people that's my color, been dominated for so many, we have dominated this sport for so many years. And then it's just, because it used to be a time where that the black athlete, the so-called black athlete, he was not allowed to doggone have certain positions on the field, like the middle linebacker. Willie Lanier, a former Kansas City Chiefs football player, right? He was the first one to actually, let them tell it, African-American, right? To actually really hold that position of middle linebacker. So they started from the defensive side of the ball first. And then eventually, as time progressed, then we get to be the black quarterback with Doug Williams. Super Bowl 22 and what he did against the Denver Broncos. right? And then after that, then you got people like Warren Moon, although he never made it to the Super Bowl, but he got 5 of them things up there when he was playing up north, up in Canada, right? And then you got people like Russell Wilson. He won him a Super Bowl a while back. So, and then you got more of, again, let them tell it, African Americans that are in the sport and that actually like really playing the position of quarterback. And then we've actually like really went as far as being like head coach over the NFL team. When Tony Dungy and Lovie Smith, when they did it a while back, that was the first time that you had 2 African Americans as head coaches on the sideline of an NFL game. That was the biggest, but like the biggest stage ever. Now, a lot of people might sit up and say, okay, well, there's progress. And for the most part, I'm here to agree with you. Well, guess what? When you take 5 steps back and a Patrick Mahomes, which for the most part, and I'm not sitting here calling him a $5 Indian, right? But look at who the fuck you play for, right? So-called Native American, all of that, just like I said, the Washington Redskins lost their name because of some poop butt motherfuckers. Plain and simple. But here it is. They get to keep their goddamn name, right? Although you don't see no face, but look, we all know where the fuck it's coming from. And then again, like I said, I hate to sound like old broke ass record, but look at Patrick Mahomes versus anybody else in the league. But then again, let's actually really stop and think about it for a minute. Let's look at his color. Let's look at Dak Prescott's color. Let's look at the quarterback down there in Houston. The motherfucker up there in Green Bay, right? And I already know, oh, you pulling a race card. No, the fuck I'm not. Because all of us are part of the same race, regardless of color, right? But basically, all what the fuck I'm telling you is this. Yes, there are black quarterbacks in the league, but look at their goddamn color. The only one that is dark as I am, right? He won the MVP. Run, nigga, run. Because let's stop and think about it for a minute, right? Dak Prescott had more passing yards, more TDs, and less interceptions than what Lamar had. But it's just for the simple fact that he'll run before he'll pass. Again, run, nigga, run. That's why I got the goddamn MVP. Right? So let's not fool ourselves here, people. And just like I said, right? Well, I'm not going to say that I'm racist because I am. I'm extremely racist. But it's just for the simple fact because I truly know what it is to be racist. I can actually really call myself a goddamn racist. Right? Because, again, being a racist is nothing more than simple English. Right? And I said this before. Right? You want to be a journalist? What the fuck do you practice? You practice journalism. So if you want to be a racist, what the fuck do you practice? You practice racism. Understand why you got 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 arms, and 2 legs. And why the hell you got 33 vertebrae in your back. And the average heart rate is anywhere from 68 to 72 beats per minute. Know why you got 12 pints of blood. All of this shit falls in a pattern. right? So all this shit, motherfucker, holler about race card this, race card that, race card the other. Shut the fuck up and color. Like, seriously. But then when you can see it, the way that the crazy uncle see it, and for what the fuck I know, then yeah, I can call myself what the fuck I call myself. Because just for the simple fact, I know what the fuck is actually really going on here. Yeah, we give you black, so-called black, but he needs to be our color or something that's close to us. That's the only reason why Kansas City, that's the only reason why Kansas City won last night, is the reason why they've been winning for the past 4 to 5 years. So let's not get this shit twisted, people. So, like I said, for the most part, if you ask me, the Super Bowl was whack because for the most part, I was drunk and I was high and I passed the fuck out. I remember hearing Usher singing them old ass songs, him and Alicia Keys, them motherfuckers. They probably would have did just as good, if not better, if they would have sung Jack and Jill Went Up the Hill or Hickory Dickory Dock or Hey Diddle Diddle, Cat in the Middle. How you say it? Hey Diddle Diddle. Yeah, Hey Diddle Diddle, Cat in the Fiddle, Cow Jumped Over the Moon. I probably would have woke my ass up there to song some shit like that, but they didn't. And it's not their fault. So guess what the fuck y'all get to do? Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your dad, tell your brother, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa. Motherfucker next door cross street while they call Paul's Harris, aka Crazy Uncle. I'll holler at y'all right fast.